Hello people, another little video for you. This one is all about parking tickets. Hooray for parking tickets. So it's been in the news recently about the £800 million surplus that parking tickets are generating in relation to people parking incorrectly or not in accordance with certain criteria or rules. And therefore they get a ticket and people are expected to pay. If you don't pay, they get very worried about you and start sending people around your house to knock on your door and take your stuff. So we're going to look at this. First of all, this is a parking ticket. As you can see, they stick it on your car under a window wiper. And this article here by the Express has decided to half picture the parking ticket, and then the other half of the picture is the Houses of Parliament. And I was like, ooh, that's very honest. It's these people and their legal acts and their legal club society rules. That means that you then, by being part of this club society, you have duties, and that means that your duties are to obey certain rules which they set out, and therefore this happens. So that's two very simple pictures there, but actually there's a lot of truth in these two pictures. So let's just read the article very quickly. We're going to go through a few other aspects. I do apologise about the bottoms up here, but it turns out Cambridge Rear of the Year saucy law students. So the people that may very well advise and work closely with the legal society and statutes and law, they actually have a Rear of the Year award for students either just graduating or starting. I hope it's just graduating. And then, obviously these people decide, yeah, I'll show my naked butt off in public and have a picture taken for a Rear of the Year award. And then, they might go into industry, into the law profession, and this person might be representing you in a criminal case at a Crown Court, because that's where they send all the new blood to blood them in, or is it, get their experience. And then this person here might be your divorce representative when you're getting divorced, and this lady here might be, well, you mention it, anything. So it's interesting that they oversex these people from a young age. And have these are the kind of people that have the attitudes that these people have in relation to representing your best interests in legal matters. It's fresh out of uni, so to speak. So, about 819 million in profit was generated by both on and off-street parking charges and penalty notices issued by England's 353 local authorities during 2016. 17 financial year. The study by motor research charity RAC Foundation shows the staggering sum was calculated by taking the income of all parking charges and penalties and then deducting running costs. It represents a 10% increase on the previous year. Most councils make surplus profits on parking, and this is then spent on local transport projects. Again, another picture of the Houses of Parliament. London councils generated the highest surplus, with Westminster 7.3 million, followed by Kensington and Chelsea's 32.2, and Camden. I think this was the council that did the Grenfell Tower. The biggest profits outside the capital were my favourite, your favourite and mine, Brighton and Hove, 21.2 million, ahead of Milton Keynes and Birmingham. RSC Foundation Director Steve Gooding said the silver lining for drivers is that these surpluses must almost exclusively be ploughed back into transport. As many motorists will tell you, there is no shortage of work to be done. I think that's in relation to the roads. So there we go. That's a lovely little short article. So we're going to zoom in on this a bit and see what exactly happens when you get a sticky yellow notice on your car saying penalty charge notice in capital letters. So someone's created this, and this is what they believe this relates to. Do not ignore. They're saying that's their own advice for themselves or for their own society, and it is an offence for an unauthorised person to remove or interfere with this notice. Unauthorised. Okay. It's also an offence for an unauthorised person to touch your property. There's no reason anyone can touch your body, and there's no reason why anyone can start messing around with the things that you own, which is why you should keep them secure at all times. So it's kind of a two-way revolving door there. So yeah, you can't touch this or interfere with it, but also they can't lift up your windscreen wiper and stick stuff under your car because it's your property. But But of course, they don't believe it's your property. They believe it's been conflated into something called vehicle. Amazing. So let's crack on. So you get your sticky label, and inside your sticky label, you have something like this. Hello, Brighton and Hove. So this is the person, Brighton and Hove. This is penalty charge notice is what they have created to give out to their societal members, and their societal members are obviously deriving their jurisdiction from something called this stuff, all this lovely code stuff. PCN number, because they've abbreviated it. That's been scrubbed out here. Served. Now, served's a very interesting word. Now, if they're saying this is, well, again, this is a capital S served on the day that they give you the ticket. So they're saying they're serving you. So they're serving you. So if you ordered a pizza and the pizza delivery man served it under your windscreen wiper on your car and said, yeah, mate, I left, what do you mean you didn't get your pizza? I left it under your windscreen wiper on your car on your driveway. No, that's not serving anyone anything. That's leaving a ticket on a car. Now, in their definition of served, that might be perfectly reasonable. But in the real world, that's not really appropriate. And if someone says, oh, we first-class mail posted it to you, okay, so I ordered a pizza, or I didn't order a pizza, but in any case, you first-class mailed it to me. It's going to be cold, horrible, and untasteworthy, so you're going to send it back, or you're not going to accept it as properly served. And then the other thing is like, well, it was signed for. It was signed for delivery, still next day, still a cold pizza. Yeah. The only way you can properly serve someone is you give it to someone who can testify to the fact, that would be the delivery driver, or in the law sense, you have a process server or a private investigator or some sort of man, flesh and blood person who goes up to you and says, these documents are for your attention, consider yourself served. And then on this day, on that day, or this time, Joe Smith served these documents upon you, yeah? So that's the pizza delivery man analogy again. So the pizza delivery man comes up to your house, rings the doorbell, nice steaming hot pizza. Here you are, consider yourself served. I'm serving you with a pizza. So that's just what you're being served with is irrelevant. It's just the fact that you're being served in a proper manner. So there we go. There's your service, and you say thank you very much. Here's the money for the pizza. Oh, and a little tip for doing such a good job and coming here so quickly and serving me so professionally. Beautiful. That's service. We're all clear. So served on this particular day by a civil enforcement officer. So now this is a title being created by them, capital C, capital E, capital O. So this civil enforcement officer has duties and is defined essentially by the above. And what's this? A signature. So this is the man who's acting as a civil enforcement officer who's making something very crucial. What is he making? Who had reason to believe. Now, Brighton and Hove cannot reason a single thing. They are essentially as lifeless as this piece of paper and their person printed upon it. So they cannot reason anything, and they certainly can't believe. Believe in God, believe in paper money or paper currency having value, believe you telling the truth, believe that it'd be a good idea to go on holiday somewhere. They cannot make any beliefs or any reasoning. But the man acting as us definitely can. Ding dong! The first signature you'll see, and this is the person who's making themselves liable for their beliefs. Because if they believe it, they have a conviction. And if you have a conviction, you can be held accountable for that conviction. So the first thing they're believing is that you are part of their society and you have contravened their own thing. But also, I've skipped a bit, it's in a great big box. And if you look at my Your Country Needs You, You and You video, I explain about boxes, capitalizations and wordings in that, which you might want to watch just to freshen yourself up with if you haven't already done so. Essentially, when you're in a box, it's kind of ignored, it's not on the page, or it's not for anyone's attention other than whoever drew the box. Again, highlighting the fact it's for their society members in that respect. So he has reason to believe that the following contraventione... Okay, so now you're going Latin here. Okay, hang on. Whenever you see a shon word, it's Latin. So a contra is obviously con together, tra... I don't know, presumably like a travesti or something. So you just... all these little couplets and triplets, words that stick together to make these interesting new meanings in Latin, has occurred, and the penalty charge is now payable. And that's basically their code. See, it's code 19, and that's what code 19 says. So this guy is very specifically trained to pick up certain things for their society members not to be doing. Date, location, vehicle registration, blah, blah, blah. Tax disc, expiry. You see, they've taken all this information to make it seem all very official. Observed from this time to that time. A penalty charge of £50 is now payable, and you must pay it within 28 days. Or a penalty charge gets a discount of 50%. That's to £25 if you pay really quickly within 2 weeks. Ooh, pay now, get a discount. Pay later, or break your legs. So that is like it's like do this or do that. If you don't do this, we'll do that. So it's kind of like an ultimatum, extortionate language. Not saying it is extortion, but it might well be. But it's very, if you don't do this, we're going to do that kind of thing. Again, it's in a box, so why are you reading inside the box? Payments must not be made to the man, because the man works for us. He's under a duty to us, so you have to pay them. Yeah, see? Right, so then you ignore them, and they give you a, I don't know, notice to owner? Is that it? There is a notice to owner somewhere. Maybe not here. No. Okay, well anyway, they normally give you a notice to owner, and then after a notice to owner, they give you a charge certificate. Now, they post this to you in a box, so your addressee details are in a box, but normally the window envelope doesn't show you the box. So you think this is addressed to you, you open it up, and it's addressed to box. It's not actually addressed to anyone. Interesting. Okay, nice little trick there. Thank you very much. And the next thing you do is look at all the other boxes here. There's all kinds of boxes here, all disguised as green boxes, but essentially they're all in boxes within boxes and more boxes, and everything's in a box. So really all you're seeing here is the person of Brighton and Hove at this PO box address, remarkable enough, has not sent anything to anyone, but what they would like is a payment, how to pay. So all they're saying is Brighton and Hove has how to pay for and behalf of Jenny Rowlands, the Director of Environment. Okay, interesting how that becomes the environment has anything to do with vehicles and stuff, but hey, that's what I mentioned before about environment has nothing to do with nature. Environment is literally your surroundings, yeah? It's what's going on around you, not necessarily trees. So if you say, oh, I want to protect the environment, yeah, I want to protect all the car parks up here and not have them knocked down and put fields down, that would be that could easily be a definition of environment and a director of. So this person is how to pay. So it's like, hey, we'd like some money, please. This is us, and we'd like some money. And that's literally what it is. It's almost like a begging sheet or please give us some money. But let's look into it. Let's look in the boxes again at our own hazard. So on such and such a day, you are the registered owner, keeper, hirer of a vehicle registration mark. Okay, again, capitalisation. When penalty charge notice number, blah, 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 was issued because the vehicle was allegedly involved in one of the following contraventions, la, la, la. As a registered keeper, owner, or hirer, because they don't know what kind of person you are, they're just presuming you're one of these three, but maybe I wasn't one of those three. Maybe this man was mistaken in his belief of exactly what he was doing, touching someone's... Oh, you thought that was a vehicle, did you? I'm sorry, mate, that's not a vehicle, that's property. And no, I'm not a... keeper, owner, hirer of the property. I'm the man, and that's my property. At the time of the offence, you're responsible for payment of the penalty charge notice. The notice to owner form was sent to you on the date given, and you had the opportunity to pay the penalty charge or challenge its issue. That's challenged within their own societal rules, which are obviously geared to fail. But I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's normally on a technicality or an oversight. The penalty charge has not been made, and according to the Road Traffic Act, as amended, this charge certificate increases the charge by 50%. We're giving you a certificate. We're validating our own fines. I mean, why 50%? Why not 5,000%? Why not 500,000%? Oh no, we'll just do 50%. It seems reasonable. People will not be suspicious of that. But essentially, they're creating their own fee increases, so why don't they make it 500 million%? So initially it was a £60 fine. You pay within 28 days, or what was it, 14 days, you get it half price. But now you haven't paid in a time frame, so we're getting really angry and we're going to send you this charge certificate. Okay, fantastic. And then they'll give you other kinds of things. So this is like, oh, we really know what we're talking about. They'll give you pictures and stuff. Pictures mean evidence. Fantastic. Well, these pictures were taken by some sort of signature guy here. So he believes he's made this plea. Look, this sign. He's interpreting this sign. Is that a legal notice? Is he legally trained? And he's taking a picture of your car and he's putting two and two together. Oh, okay. Now this is where it all comes back to the guy who signed your ticket. He started, if you like, he's the guy who started the whole wheel is in motion. He's the guy of the community who's being paid by the local authority to go out and make sure people are parked correctly in areas. Quite rightly, because if everyone parked willy-nilly, there's nothing stopping people from blocking roads and being a nuisance. And that's what they were trying to avoid here. But at the same time, turning it into an £800 million industry, it seems a rather lucrative prevention. So on this point, I'll also talk about people stitching up their own neighbours and friends and family and local people as well. When I went to Serbia once, there's a guy called Borka, and he was telling me a story about how when the Ottoman Empire, this is back in ancient history now, but when the Ottoman Empire came into Eastern Europe, they used to go around and used to round up all the little ones, in all the little young men in the villages. So anyone less than 5, 6, 7 or 8 years old, they would just snatch them off and say, right, we're taking your eldest son or this son or that son, and we're going to take them back with us. And you can't really say no because they'll get really angry. And so they would go. They'd take all these boys off and they'd take them back to some place, training camp in the Ottoman Empire, and they'd train them, beat them up, and get them well adversed in pain and misery and extortion. And they would use the people's own people to police the empire's newly collected lands, or dominated lands. So instead of having to use their own resources and their own people at risk, we're going to take your own kids and we're going to train your own kids up to suppress you people, so that it doesn't impact our society at all. So some of these kids would go back to their local areas, and some of them would have memories as well. Maybe they were taken a bit old, and they realise, hang on a minute, I know this area. Oh God, hang on, I recognise this town. Oh, I grew up here. That's my house. And they would start thinking, oh crap, I think I know. I think I'm putting together what's happened here. I grew up here, and I've been stolen. And I'm coming back to enforce my people. Obviously, if they abandon ship or run away, then they're going to get caught and they're going to get executed. If they start showing mutinous ideas to their superiors, they're going to get executed. And if they carry on beating up their own family and friends and country people, then that's obviously something that's going to weigh heavily on their conscience. So a lot of these people actually ended up killing themselves because of the situation they were put in. Now in England, in England's green and pleasant land, it's by no means as desperate as that. But the principle is here: people are getting paid to go around the streets and snoop on their neighbours, snoop on their fellow people, and stick badges on their cars, in order to attract penalty charges and fines and kind of, I wouldn't say trick them out of money, but they're creating an industry that may or may not, or should not be there. It depends if people all are conscientious and courteous when they're parking their cars around, not blocking streets. But obviously that's up to people to do that. So back on course with this. So here we are. You get another box here. So there's nothing there. Thank you for your letter. So this person's written back about their penalty charge notification, and they give you where is it? They give you a few options here about how to like challenge it. Or you can very prescribe statutory grounds, and you've got some making representations. So that would be, I mean, the only representations I know of are like getting a legal specialist, a legal society member, someone who is part of this society, to make representations on your behalf. So that's the only thing I can think of. Is that what they're asking for there? So you can make legal representations. You have statutory grounds for their people, their citizens to tick box exercise that. I think that carries on over here. And then you got, sneaky thing here, other grounds. Are there any other possible grounds to challenge what's going on here? That's the box I would be ticking. So, we received your letter because the vehicle was seen by seen by the civil. A civil enforcement officer is a piece of paper. It's no different from this sign. It's a definition of a job role. So until someone has seen, a man or a woman has acted in this role and seen with their own eyes, and made a decision based on what they see with their eyes, and then they see in their head, and they choose to stick a sticker on your car, then the civil enforcement officer can't do that until a man acts in that capacity. And they basically was this the one that was rejected? I thought there was one I had which was rejected. Basically, they get a letter in and they basically say, it might be this one. So the representations that you have made in respect to the penalty charge dated such and such. So again, they take pictures of your car with an invalid, even with you might have had a valid ticket. You might have thought it was valid. You might have thought you could have parked here because of certain reasons. There's all kinds of stupid nuances that you may or may not be aware of. And when you try to act in their game, then you're going to get burned. So here there is a ticket in the window, but still not good enough, mate. And the representations made dated that it has been considered by us at the Brighton and Hove Council and rejected for the following reasons. The PCN was issued because the vehicle was parked in a shared use bay without displaying a valid permit or pay and display ticket. There's something in the window. Please see below for the actions. For the photographs. So they're sending you photographs here to try and intimidate you again. Oh, we got pictures, we got evidence, mate. That was you. Glorious, fantastic. You think that's a vehicle? Okay. You think there was a driver or whatever else? What was it? A keeper, hirer, or owner? Do you think that was owner? No, that's just my property. Property be mine. So cracking on. They seem to think that being a registered keeper, somehow this document, was it a V5C? This is what you do when you get your car, you buy it or you sell it on. It's just to keep it nice. It's a good way the government can monitor people's property so that if you crash into someone else and you don't stop and help, you can hopefully get your number plate read and someone will be able to locate you by using this. Or if your car gets stolen. Oh, government, my car's been stolen. We'll look for it straight away, sir. Not a problem. Leave it to the government. We'll find your property and we'll give it back to you. That's essentially what this is. It's a good document. So the way that the DVLA are involved here, which give away your information to the councils. But the way that this is a good document. It helps you to recover your property if it's been lost, damaged, or involved in some sort of accident. So to say that now this document is the reason that we can now go after you, with fines and amerces, and I'll come to amerces in just a second, is a bit silly really, because it would mean that if people kind of thought, oh, what you mean if I don't register my car or my vehicle, my property, then I don't have to pay council tax, council parking charges, then everyone would stop registering their vehicles. No one would have number plates, and it become a mess. People just hit and run all over the place, and no one would be, well, it was a red car and it went that way. But no, if you can read the number plate, you can get all the people's details. So that's why to say that because you've registered your car, this makes you liable for amerces, I'm not sure about that, especially when there's nothing on this document that even comes close to it, and the document even in capital letters, this is not proof of ownership. It shows who is responsible for who is responsible for registering and taxing the vehicle. Okay, they're saying vehicle again here, but let them say what they wish to. Registering and taxing, and that would probably come in line with, you can't tax your vehicle unless it's got an MOT. So they don't want any old rust bucket on the road just because you paid money. It has to be safe enough so that you're not going to cause an injury or an accident to your fellow man. So this is purely a property kind of exercise as far as I can see. And everything here is obviously my opinion based on what I know, what I've studied. So going back to an amerce. Now, how does the council think or believes it can go around and stick on all these lovely charges and things like that to people? Now we're going to go to a thing called an amerce, because in all of our constitutions, it's like, no people can be fined without a fair trial by their peers. Essentially, it's a court. Courts have the power to fine or imprison, contempt of court or make fines because you've done something rather naughty, and there's a debt. So let's look at amerces now. So by all means, freeze your screen. Amercement. Have a little read through this one. This one's a little bit more long-winded or in depth. It goes all the way down to here. So just freeze the screen and read that, and I'm going to use another one, which is a little bit more abbreviated. An amercement. So from the French mercy, a mercy. So no mercy. That and an accusative. So regardless of how the words are definitions, just look at there's a definition for a word, and there's how the word is actually constructed, if you like. So mercy. Mercy. Oh, I beg mercy. So a mercy would be no mercy meant, and that being accused of no mercy or pertaining to no mercy signifies a pecuniary punishment of an offender against the king or other lord. So they're claiming that you're part of the nobility or some sort of lord of some sort of rank in his court. So it's very much a private court and a private affair. So that's why they can put these charges on you. That is found to be offended. So you cause an offence. They always cause about offence. There's an offence here and you need to pay your punishment, your fine. And if you pay this fine, then punishment's done. And to stand at the mercy of the king or lord. The author of the Terms of Lay saith that amercement is properly a penalty assessed by the peers or equals of the party amerced for the offence done, for which he putteth himself at the mercy of the Lord. He putteth himself at the mercy of the Lord. Why? Because he's in some sort of cahoots, contract, or agreement with them. So it's the only way that you can be immersed is if you have some sort of grounds. Now let's think about sports players. When sports players go out and get drunk, drugged up, prostitutes, whatever you want to call it, they get found out, they tend to get ducted, like 1 week's, 2 weeks' wages or whatever as that. There's no trial for that. There's no trial by jury because you're part of their club. So if you would like to have all the benefits of being in our football society and getting paid ridiculous amounts of money every week, then if you mess up or you bring the club into disrepute or you bring the governing body and the sports industry as a whole into disrepute, then they will immerse the hell out of you. They can even ban you from playing. Take what's his face? That boxer, Tyson Fury, who's just been, he had a drugs test failure. He had, testosterone or cocaine, whatever he's done in his body. What he puts in his body is his own business. But when the governing body comes and takes samples of you and find stuff in there that they don't like, then you're bound to our rules, mate, and we're going to immerse and ban you. He's been suspended for over nearly 2 years now. So it's pretty serious stuff when you do this. But the point I'm trying to get at is these people are, if I'm a boxer and I'm in the boxing, with the WBA, whatever society, then you're part of it. You probably signed on as a contract, as agreement. Exactly what part of signing on to the council? The council that serves the people. Exactly what? Hang on, they serve us. We're the people that immerse them. Technically, how does the council immerse the people that it serves? That seems rather strange. And the reason they do it is they conflate you, which we've already talked about here, where they're saying if you're the keeper, owner, or hirer, not people. Oh no, not people and property. We can't say those words, but we can do it in this, if we change you and give you other titles, like they put sometimes respondents in here, all kinds of Latin nonsense all over the place, just to try and get you into their world, to try and win you over. Yes, this is the details that is on the the V5C, and there's nothing in here about Brighton and Hove being able to say, you're the keeper, so therefore, no. If I registered a toothbrush to the government, it doesn't mean that they can come in my front door and take my all my shit because I've registered one toothpaste. Haha, you've got one little in with us, therefore everything's open to us. No. That's not how the law works, buddy. And let them believe that it does, but it will all come back to bite them in the butt. But the point I'm trying to get at is that the one person you're trying to hold to account is this person who set the whole ball in motion. So this is the person that you need to convince he's made an error. So you can write to the council to say, look, I wish to please forward this on to your civil enforcement officer, as I believe he's in error. He's in error because of the facts the reasons that I've given already. And I'd like to see if Brighton and Hove actually, next time you get a parking ticket, give it a go. Give the civil enforcement officer, just say, look, you do know that I'm not Brighton and Hove. I mean, I don't know the nature of this. Is this a legal matter? Because I'm not sure. I don't recall being legally trained or qualified to be immersed in such a manner. And immersed would be in their kind of speech marks kind of thing, because we don't use words like immersed. We just use penalties and fines. I don't believe I should be fined until I've had my day in court. That's another thing as well. So they tend to send you off to that Northampton County Court. Yeah, Northampton County Court. Now, there's a thing that I once read. Is if a mistrial, if someone ever takes you to a court outside of your home territory, especially in a civil debt, then it's immediately a mistrial and it's void. It's void completely. So if you've got an issue with the courts in Northampton, I've never been to Northampton. Why the hell would they be administrating anything like that? It's because it's not for people. It's for conflated things like citizens, keepers, owners, and hirers, all this commercial realm stuff. So yeah, okay, fantastic. You've got a judgment that you think is against the man, do you? Well, I'm here to let you know that if it's a mistrial from the start, it's void, and have a blessed day. It's lovely doing business with you. So that's kind of things that you can look at here in relation to parking. If you've got any questions, any comments, just put them down below, and I'll try and answer them best I can. But I hope that's kind of like a beginner's guide, maybe even an idiot's guide to parking tickets. But this is essentially how they draw you in, and we need to focus on the people that get the ball rolling. These are the little arms and legs of this corporate body. We hold the arms and legs to account, and eventually this won't be able to move. And these people will learn what's right and what's wrong.